How are we doing? I hope that we're all well. Thank you for joining episode 9 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview sessions. Episode 9. I am excited for this one this evening. So this evening we are with the wonderful Anna Sandborn from Sweden, NLP business and leadership coach. So I'm just going to send a few invites. I hope that we are all well. I hope that we are ready to be inspired. I hope that we are having a great weekend and are setting ourselves up for a great week ahead. Let me just send a few more and then I shall get cracking. There we go. One of these days we will have an invite all button, and I shall spare you 1 to 2 minutes at the start of every one of these videos. There we go, that shall do. That is enough. So I hope that we're all well. I hope that we are having a good weekend, as I've said. And I would be ever so grateful if you felt that this interview with Anna is adding you value, if you would share it with people that you believe need to hear this story, this message. So for those of you that are first joining, the Always Better Than Yesterday interview sessions is all about helping understand the habits and the mindset behind successful and inspiring people. So I'm a nosy, curious person. I like to learn from other people. I'm fascinated by people. And I like to know what makes people tick. I like to know what motivates people. I like to know how people think and act, and as a way to help myself learn and try and use different things in my own life. And I thought, what better way than to start a series of interviews live on Facebook and help a number of you learn at the same time. So that's what these are. This is episode 9. I've been blessed to have some amazing guests over the last 9 weeks. And tonight is no different. So I connected with Anna Sandborn probably at the back end of last year, just as I launched my community. We've been connected by Simon Sinek, the Find Your Why hashtag on Instagram, and instantly the two contents we were putting out on our channels was very similar, very like-minded people, and that's led us to getting to know each other a little bit more over the last year. So Anna's shared a lot of value within the We Are Always Better Than Yesterday community, and I'm really excited to be able to share her with you this evening. So I'm going to bring her on.
Hey there.
And there we go. Hello. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Very well. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Great to see you too.
So would you do me the honour of please introducing yourself to our viewers and our listeners?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Anna Sandborn, and I live in Huskvarna, Sweden, with my husband Johan and our 2 wonderful kids, Stella and Hugo. And I'm a coach. I'm an NLP coach, and I am a leader. And that's what I do for a living, but it's really who I am and who I've become through the years. And I feel really glad to say that, because there was a time where I couldn't really say who I was. Mm-hmm. And today I'm really confident in that. And I'm a runner. I must say that running is a big part of my life, and a big part of why I have the mindset I have today, I think. I like to think of myself as a mindful runner, actually. Because
what does that mean?
It means that you're aware of your body, mm-hmm. that you are constantly thinking about awareness of body and mind, because we can push our mind to do a lot of things. But if we're not connected with our body, that makes us often makes the body stressed. And so I'm really about listening to my body, because my mind wants to do a lot of things. And yeah, and that's been tough sometimes. So yeah.
Wow, so there's going to be loads that we can talk about tonight, and I think what I'm interested in is talking about this sense of who you are. And I was just introducing you earlier in and saying that you'd shared a lot of value within our Always Better Than Yesterday community, and one of the sessions that we run is Why Wednesdays, and one of the most inspiring Why Wednesdays we've had is with your good self. And I just wonder whether you'd be willing to share your purpose, your why with the viewers and listeners.
Sure. Yeah, I have a strong belief that we all have a purpose, and that we have unique and great powers inside that we become aware of. The more true to ourselves we are, and that sometimes we're not aware of it, and we become confused, and that means we're at a wrong place. So I really want to empower and inspire people to find their true self, to find their values and their purpose, so that they can be fulfilled where they are, at work or in their life. And that's really, really important to me.
That's amazing. And just help us understand a little bit about your story and where your whys come from.
Yeah, my whys are really shaped by my story. I have a special story. I have been involved in not one but two car accidents, actually major car accidents, and I've survived 2 times. And the first one was when I was 15 years old, and I was on my way home from an aerobic session, and at that time I was 15. I was kind of confused, and I was finding myself at a dark place. I went through a lot of hardship, and I didn't really know where I was going. And so I was on my bike, I was on my way home, and I was hit by a car in 80 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course, I don't remember anything of it, but what happened was I got severe internal bleedings, and I went into a coma for I don't know now, I think it was 4 days or something. But when I wake up, I improved rapidly, and I was released after 2 weeks. And the doctor that released me, he really encouraged me to take this second chance and do the most out of my life. And I was 15. I really took those words seriously, and I started doing plans. I mean, I was in high school and I was living at home, so I really wanted to graduate. But as soon as I did, I went abroad. I moved to Italy, and I just started a journey where I did a lot of things that I was afraid of, but I took risks, and I invested in myself. I really did. And
was that a conscious decision?
Yes, it really was. I don't know if I've always been adventurous, but I chose to see life as an adventure, and I think I've always been interested in people. But this was, for me, I was so curious. I felt I wanted to know everything about the world and people I met, and that's just continued. So I've been really been challenging myself, and I've moved out of my comfort zone so many times, which built my confidence, but it also put a lot of pressure on me, because I felt I needed to do a lot of things, and I had quite a speed in what I was doing. I traveled, I studied, I worked. I had 3 jobs when I studied, and I decided to do a career, and I set goals and I achieved them, and I grew kind of tired, actually. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I didn't think that much about my body. I was just focusing on doing as much as I can, checking off that bucket list.
Wow. And there's lots there. So let me just take you back to the accident and the setback, and how, at what point did you use that as, you know, at what point did you have to use that experience to either, you know, keep you moving forward?
I've always, I think ever since then, I've worked with perspective. You know, I just thought about what happened, and every time I hesitated, I just thought about, well, what if I would be somewhere else? I wouldn't have been given this chance to do this, and what could happen?
Yeah, what helped you give that meaning to it? You know, what, you know, you were very young at that age, and how did you choose to see it in a positive light? Because that, you know, that's kind of inspiring for me in terms of you've had this this event happen to you. You know, we all know now that whatever meaning we give to those things, it doesn't matter on your background, where you come from, whether you, I don't know where I'm going with this, but you know, if you use it either as an excuse to hold you back or a reason to drive you and motivate you, and how did you make sure that it drove you and motivated you?
I kept reminding myself. I wrote a journal. I've been journalizing a lot, and but I mean, I was only 15, so I remember when this happened, I promised myself to take risks and do the things that I wanted to do. I started making plans, but it took me a couple of years before I could go somewhere and do my thing. And I remember waking up to a different world, because when this happens, you get a totally different perspective of life, but everyone else has their same perspective. So I remember feeling happy, really happy at first, but very confused, and I felt wrong in very many situations, because people were, when I was telling people about my plans and I wanted people to make more out of life, go after their dreams, many told me to be, you know, a dreamer, romantic, unrealistic. So I often felt wrong. I was very confident in what I was doing, but I wasn't that confident in who I was. So it was hard. It was hard going back. When I was traveling, I was always happy and confident. But when I got back to like old friends and family, I wasn't always comfortable, actually. So I felt wrong, and I felt odd at times.
What do you think that was?
Well, I think I was so young, so I expected everyone to share my world and my map of reality, and I was too young to understand that people have their own world, and they were very grateful that I survived and that I was still there. But then life goes back to normal, and mine didn't. And so that was a struggle for me for many years.
What helped?
I think actually it was like that for quite some time, and that actually was one of the reasons where I found myself lost when I was in my 30s, because I was on the top of my career, and I was newly married. I had achieved the goals I wanted, and I was struggling to become a mother. And in this process, I was really starting to doubt myself. And I think I just, you know, people asked me why I was always doing a lot of things, changing jobs, changing cities, meeting new people, because I've been working at many different places and in many different roles and in many different cities. And I thought that was fun, but everyone was questioning it, or that was what I experienced. And I started doubting myself, started questioning myself a lot. And so I really lost myself there a couple of years ago. And
what helped you find yourself?
It was a lot of things, but what happened then when I was struggling again was I had another accident. and this is so crazy. And now I choose to see this as wake-up calls for me. It's like a life, you know, a call that said, hey, you're struggling again. You're not living. You're not making the most out of it. And you're getting the wrong perspective, Anna. And that's beautiful to see it like that. At the time, I struggled a lot. So it took me some time to really see it as a gift.
So you focus a lot now on your positive thinking so that you don't get hit by another car. Is that the is that the motivation?
Yeah, and I said to you this week, as I'm wondering what will happen when I'm 45, because I was 15 and then I was in my 30s, where I was 30, and but you know, I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. You don't get this lucky, and there were so many circumstances that could have gone, you know, wrong. In the first accident, I didn't wear a helmet. I was hit by a car like in 80 kilometers, and that's just magic. It's just an angel there, right there. And the second hit was by a trailer of a truck, and it hit me like 1.5 meters behind my seat, and I wasn't even wearing my seatbelt because I was grabbing my insurance papers after the first hit I was in, and you know, everything was on my side.
Wow.
So that's just amazing, really, and that's really got me to where I am today, where I really want to make the most out of life, and I'm working a lot with presence, being present in the moment, capturing moments. Because I think it's not about chasing new things and all the time. It's being where you are and finding happiness where you are.
Absolutely. So you've had a lot of experiences in the last sort of 15, 20 years. And I guess now that you can reflect back on them, what would you say have been the most important lessons that you've taken from your experiences?
To gain strength when it's been tough, to look back on what I've actually done, what I've actually managed to do, where I've taken myself, and you know, because when you're in a tough situation, you're there and you're like in the middle of a storm. But once you're out of it, it's really important to reflect and go back and see what made me take these steps, what made me come through the fire, and turn that into strength. Because pain hurts when you're in the middle of something, but pain can also be a force and an energy that can be turned into something positive if it takes you somewhere else. So that's been really important to me. And also I'm a person who really, since I felt alone, and I had this perspective of my own, I've been dealing with a lot of things on my own, and I felt I needed to be strong many times, and I didn't ask for help. I didn't want to show vulnerability, and that's what I've needed to do the last years. And I'm vulnerable. Everyone's vulnerable, and that's been difficult for me, but that's what I'm working on.
So what's that? Asking for help?
Yes, and asking for help and show that I'm not always there with all the answers, and you know, just admitting that I might not feel able or things like that. That's been tough, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. What's helping you with that?
I think coaching has helped me a lot, actually, because ever since I decided to become a coach and a leader, people have opened their hearts to me. And, you know, it's when you show that vulnerable side and you get to the core of who you are, that's when you're the strongest version of yourself. So I believe my vulnerability is my strongest part. And that helps me show vulnerability and also accept my vulnerability.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, it's powerful. So, are there any other lessons that you'd like to share with the listeners and viewers?
Um, well, also setting healthy boundaries for yourself. You don't need to do
Mm.
everything, and um, I feel I've had a lot of demands on myself, and I know a lot of people have, and I choose to think about it as do I have to or do I want to, and that's
Mm-hmm.
completely different. And
Yeah.
so I do more of the things that I want to do, and I've also set boundaries against people and relationships that hasn't been good for me.
Mm.
Because I think it's much about you need to be aware of your energy and think about what gives you energy, what people gives you energy, and what situations give you energy. And that's why I left my job. I
Mm-hmm.
was working at a bank, and I had a great time. I had for many years, and I am so grateful for all the opportunities and job roles. But when I left, I felt I had lost direction. This was not where I was going to be, and I didn't get any positive energy where I was, and so I just had to leave. It came to a point where my body was really telling me to leave.
So, for our listeners and viewers that are going through that period of getting burnt out by pursuing jobs or
Mm-hmm.
roles or experiences and losing themselves in the process, what would your advice be to those people?
Um, I would say listen to yourself. Listen to yourself more than you listen to others, and and go to your core values. See what's really important to you. Because for me, when I lost my why and I felt I wasn't at the right place, I was actually sacrificing time with my loved ones for something that I didn't want to do, and in the end, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And if you're not passionate about something, that will burn you out. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so go and I mean, you and I were coaches, so there are people that can help you to
Mm-hmm.
find what you need to do, find who you are and your values, and that will guide you. I believe it will.
Love that. So, the thing I've been asking all of my people that have joined me is, you will all know that I'm passionate about this phrase, always better than yesterday. What does always better than yesterday mean to you?
Um, for me, it makes a difference because for a long time I was aiming at perfect without even knowing what perfect was,
Mm-hmm.
and that made me feel never good enough. And
Yeah.
you know, being always better than yesterday, for me, that's more specific, it's measurable, and I can actually go back and see that I've improved, which builds my confidence. And I think that's really important because if you never feel enough, that reduces your confidence. So
Mm.
for me, it's that's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I think for me, it's working with self-reflection and self-awareness and being present, because if I'm not present, I can't reflect and I can't go back and I can't learn. So
Love that.
yeah.
So, what sort of things do you do to help you be always better than yesterday?
Well, right now, I've been working, I've had a long holiday, and I'm good at being present at work, and I actually teach being present at my leadership training. But I've been not been that good at being present in my everyday life with my family and kids. So I'm really practicing being present in the everyday life with small kids. It's just, you know, doing, but sometimes we just need to be there with them,
Yeah.
so time doesn't just fly by. um, and when I do, I find myself happier more often,
Mm.
and satisfied with the days. So that's what I'm really working on right now.
Amazing. And in your capacity as a coach, how do you help others become better than yesterday?
We use a lot of reflection, of course, and we always make a plan. My clients always have a plan for themselves, and that way we always go back and see what they've done since the last time, and we stay there, and I really make them feel what they've done and create, pride of that, because I think we're not proud of ourselves, and we don't see what we do. So that's important.
Beautiful. I'm just going through the comments now, see if we've got any questions. Guys, if you've got any questions or you're catching up on replay and you'd like to ask Anna a question, then please do so. We'll both jump back in the comments if you ask them on replay. Where can our listeners and viewers catch more of your content?
Right now I have an Instagram account that's Anna Sandborn coaching, and I'm working on a website now because I'm starting up my own business, and as a coach, and so any day now I will have a website, and I will definitely post that on Instagram. So
brilliant. And what sort of coaching who are you looking to coach?
Right now I'm coaching leaders and teams, and I've been doing life coaching also, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn off my lights. Just a minute. See if that helps.
There we go.
It's getting dark. It's getting dark in Sweden.
Losing the light. What time is it there for you?
It's let's see, it's 9:30. Yeah. 9:30.
Well, I do appreciate the time that you've given to us this evening, and thank you so much for sharing your story. Is there anything else, any words of wisdom that you'd like to leave with the listeners and viewers?
Well, I just want to encourage everyone to make the most out of every day. And that doesn't mean you have to book another holiday or do the great things. I think it's super important to just stay in a moment with the ones you love. You can stay in a hug for a little longer. You can look in someone's eyes for a little longer. Just stop and breathe and feel how it feels to be alive a little more often. And I think that'll make a huge difference.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for being you, and thank you for helping out a lot within the community as well. It's been an absolute privilege to get to know you better. And everyone have a great week. Set yourselves up for a great week.
Yay.
And we'll speak to you soon. Take care. Much love.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.